The next task we're going to work on is combining sentences and varying sentence beginners, but making sure that you're careful of dangling or misplaced modifiers. The focus of this is really on that last part, on what to watch out for as you combine. So this is going to involve a process. So go ahead and take this step by step. First of all, draw brackets around the first two words of each sentence. So on your paper, with your paper in front of you, take a pen and draw little brackets around the first two words of each sentence. And go ahead and pause the video and take care of that. Now that you have drawn brackets around the first two words of each sentence, the next step is to figure out if you've got repetition. So do that. You can do this in one of two ways. Either just read to yourself in your head or quietly to yourself the pairs of words. So for example, you might be reading, I have, I went, she said, we did, they then, etc. So you're just reading the pairs, or on the side of your paper, maybe in the margin, just write a list, make a list of the pairs of words. So pause and take care of that. And now that you have either listened to or read or written the pairs of words, keep an eye out for repetition. And by repetition, it may be the same word you're using over and over at the beginning of sentences that are near each other, or it may just be subject, verb, subject, verb, subject, verb. But here's an example of what I would say is repetition. So I went, I said, I told, I saw. So this represents the first two words of 4 sentences in a row. And so I would say that is repetitive. We've got some repetition there. It sounds kind of monotonous when you read sentence after sentence that begins the same way. So the idea is where you see the repetition, you want to try to combine sentences, vary sentence openers so that you are not you're not repetitive at the beginning of sentences. So this is what it might look like on your paper. I wanted to find a prom dress, period. I convinced 3 of my best friends to go shopping with me. So I have drawn brackets around I wanted and I convinced. Well, I see that I've got 2 sentences in a row that start with I. And it's not that you can't have sentences in a row that start with I, but this is just as an example. A way I might try to revise that would be to combine those 2 sentences, taking the 2 independent clauses or 2 independent sentences and using one as an introductory clause or an introductory phrase. So revision might say, determined to find a prom dress, I convinced 3 of my best friends to go shopping with me. So that is a strategy you can use for combining sentences. However, the problem what I have found is that when I advise students to do this kind of thing, sometimes we end up with something called dangling modifiers.